Hi, I'm Suri, a therapist, a mom of four emotionally intense kids, and a grandparent of nine. I work with parents every day who are doing their absolute best and still find themselves stuck in patterns of reacting in ways that they regret later. If that's you, you're not alone. In this video, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite DBT emotion regulation skills, and it's called opposite action. And it can be incredibly powerful when your emotions are really high and your parenting brain feels like it's been completely hijacked. So let's just back up for a minute and talk about why do we even have emotions? Before we can talk about changing emotions, we have to understand why they show up. Now, from an evolutionary perspective, emotions have three big functions. They give us information. Something really important is happening here. They communicate to others through our facial expressions, our tone, our body language, and they organize us for action, which means they prepare us to do something. Now, every emotion comes with its own action urge, a behavior that it wants you to do, or an action it wants you to take. For example, fear says avoid. Anger says attack or push back. Sadness says withdraw, shut down, and shame says to hide. Those urges that we experience, those are hardwired. They're your brain's way of protecting you, but sometimes they backfire. So let's say your child's just had their fourth meltdown of the day. You feel your temper starting to rise, your face is flushing, your shoulders are tense, and your brain is screaming, I cannot take this anymore. Your action urge might be to yell or walk away or slam a door. That's your emotion driving the bus. The problem is that urge, while it may feel justified in the moment, is usually not effective. It doesn't get your child to calm down, and it doesn't teach them how to behave in a skillful way. And it definitely doesn't move you towards connection. And that's where opposite action comes in. Opposite action is a skill to use when you want to change your emotional experience, and acting on your emotion won't help or is likely to make things worse. Basically, it means doing the opposite of what your action urge tells you to do on purpose and all the way. So let me say that again. It's not just don't do the thing, it's do the opposite thing with your face, your posture, your voice, and your body. So let's run through the 5 steps of opposite action. Step number 1 is identify the emotion. What is it that you're feeling that you don't want to be feeling? Is it fear, anger, shame, sadness, jealousy? Sometimes you'll have to slow down and check your body. Just notice what's going on. Tight chest, racing thoughts. Do you feel an urge to cry, to snap? Just notice what's going on emotionally and identify the primary urge. Step 2, identify the action urge. Once you've identified the emotion, you're going to want to identify, what does this emotion want you to do? Is the action urge to yell? Do you feel an urge to walk away, shut down, avoid something, be aggressive, retaliate? So that's step 2, identifying what the emotion is urging you to do, and that's called the action urge. Step 3, ask yourself, does the emotion fit the facts? Is this fear that I'm feeling, for example, based on real danger? Or is the anger based on an actual injustice? Or is it just about expectations, assumptions, beliefs, and interpretation? Now, sometimes emotions are totally valid, but even then, if the emotion doesn't fit the facts or acting on those emotions won't help, you're ready for opposite action. And that's where in step 4, you're going to choose the opposite action. So if your urge is to withdraw, opposite action would be to lean in. If your urge is to yell, go ahead and drop the volume of your voice. If your urge is to isolate, show up. If your urge is to avoid or hide, reach out or lean into the thing you want to avoid. Here's the key. You're doing opposite action, not just with your words, but with all of you. Your posture, your facial expression, your muscle tone, all of it. So think shoulders back, steady breath, voice calm, even if your insides are screaming. And step 5, repeat this until the emotion changes. You probably won't feel different right away. That's normal. But do it again and again. And eventually your brain is going to get the message. We're safe, we're okay, we're in control. You've probably heard that how we think affects how we feel. Well, how we act does too. When we act in line with our emotion and follow that instinctual action urge, we intensify the emotion. When we act opposite to the emotion, we regulate it and we can change it. Opposite action breaks that loop. It tells your nervous system, we're not doing this spiral today. And over time, it changes your emotional experience, not by stuffing it down, but by choosing behavior that's more aligned with your values than it is with your mood. Now, in the next video, I'm going to walk you through opposite action for specific emotions that come up in parenting all the time: anger, fear, sadness, and shame. We'll look at what tends to trigger those emotions in parents of big feeling kids, what the typical urges are that are associated with those emotions, and how to practice opposite action in the heat of those moments. We'll keep it practical, real, compassionate. You don't need to be perfect, just tools and practice. See you there.